Welcome to Sustainable Leadership Live. I'm Lisa Danforth, your host, and today I have the amazing Erin Hamlin, who is a wellness coach and so much more. Erin, I'm so excited you're here today and sharing your brilliance with us.
Thank you so much for having me, Lisa. What a pleasure.
Yeah. Today, we are talking about radical self-love and why it's such a necessary choice in living and leading a sustainable life, right? Caring for, loving ourselves is where it all starts. So I say, let's jump right in, Erin, and let's go. I would love to know a little bit, how did you get started with this? I mean, we all know that we need to take care of ourselves, but how did this become a focus for you?
Yeah, such a great question. I started out as a fitness instructor. I started with Zumba. I don't know if you've taken any Zumba classes, Lisa. That was my entry point to the fitness world after being a dancer for years. And at the same time, I had partnered with a wellness product company. So I started coaching women with weight loss. And the more women I coached with the goal of weight loss, the more I realized that there is so much more under this iceberg, right? And really, through that experience, after working with so many women, realized that we need to do more work on the mindset. And it was really not weight was just a symptom of such a bigger problem, and that, and I'm sure your audience would identify with this, that as moms and in some cases grandmothers, we have put the needs of everybody else first for years. Maybe even as teenagers, we stepped into that caretaker role. It's just very natural for us, as for most women, to step into that role early and to continue that. And the women, when they would come to me, would be in this space of like, I don't even really know who I am, what I like, what I want to do. Like, I feel sort of lost at sea. I look in the mirror, I don't recognize myself anymore. I don't know how to start getting back to, I don't even know where to begin. And so they were interested in, like, I want to lose 20 pounds, but I'm like, really, I think what you want to do is figure out who you are, what lights you up. And the more radical self-love we can bring into your life, the more you probably will lose some weight, but that is not going to be the focus. I don't really love the scale. Good morning, Donna. Thanks for saying hi in the chat.
Yeah, I wanted to pop it. She is someone who is constantly giving to others and putting the self-care on the back burner. So I just wanted to give a shout out to her. And she's dialing from New York. We have Helen Gain, who's dialing in from Viva Las Vegas. Thanks for dialing in so early. And we got Helen saying good morning. Thanks for joining us, ladies. If you have any questions for Erin, please pop them in the chat.
Yeah, thank you. So yeah, again, just started with fitness, fell in love with it, and then wanted to really get to the root cause of what was going on for so many women. And for myself too, I had a lot of healing to do. I'm still on a healing. Our journey is never over, right? There's always new levels to discover about ourselves. So it's a constant and daily practice, absolutely a daily practice. So I love being able to do it.
And you were mentioning earlier about that practice, hitting the mindset gym and the importance of it. Can you talk a little bit about that? Because it truly is, it starts with the mindset, because you can give someone, here's your exercise that you need to do for the week. Here's your menu, but it's so much more than that. So can you talk about that mindset gym?
Absolutely. Yeah, the mindset gym. I had an amazing coach, Brooke Ritchie, coin that phrase, and I will carry it forever because I love it. Don't forget to hit the mindset gym. A lot of women that I work with are like, I'm just going to hit the gym more, work out more, eat less and work out more is the diet culture that we've been fed for generations. And it really doesn't work, as we all know. So I say prioritize the mindset gym over the actual gym and see if that shifts things for you. And that's going to look different for everybody. So I like to provide a menu of options for people, and what in figuring out what does work for you. And that might change over time. I think the most important aspect of the mindset gym is your gratitude practice. And what does that look like for you? I love having a gratitude journal, that, waking up every morning, writing down 5 to 10 very specific things. Depending on, again, whatever works for you, you're going to need to discover that for yourself. But tapping into that state of appreciation is so key to your mindset. And then having, we say things like, well, focus on what you want, and what does that mean to focus? Like, well, how do you focus on it? What does that look like? So does that look like having a journal practice? Does that look like having a vision board? Does that look like having a meditation practice where you visualize the future that you're stepping into? And so developing for yourself what that focus time is. And again, that will shift over time.
Oh,
Maybe for 3 months, you'll love the gratitude journal, and then you'll need something different. We love to mix it up. So, but it's just
I love that.
any kind of
Curiosity.
consistent practice. Mm.
Yeah. And giving ourselves the compassion to be able to shift things up, look from different perspectives, and not have to continue doing that one thing all the time. Donna says, Lisa's working on my Donna. Yes, Donna's getting better at boundaries, but still, I mean, those boundaries are a huge thing, which is a great lead in. Where do boundaries come into play with the work that you do with your clients? How do they struggle with boundaries? How do you help them with setting those in so that they can focus on themselves and their care?
The first thing I think of when you ask that is mom guilt. I don't know if you use that phrase or if your clients use that phrase, but we might get to a place where we're setting the time for ourselves, but then we just feel awful about it. I work with a lot of people, and myself included, that have this learned behavior of like working harder and not always giving permission to rest. And we were talking earlier, Lisa, about being in human design, being projectors, and learning more about the importance of rest. And that's true for everybody. But most women I work with, I find really struggle with that, really struggle with like not just setting the boundary of the time, okay, I'm going to do this for myself, but then feeling okay about it and not just feeling guilty while they're doing the thing for themselves. So it does take a lot of time. And we've all heard that, cliched phrase of like, well, you have to put your oxygen mask on first before you put on everybody else. But like,
It's true.
what is that? Can we really do that? Like, can we really do that? And what does that look like on a daily basis? And it's not until you feel the benefits of that you're going to really believe in that as a practice, that like, yes, when I do set time aside for myself to truly take care of myself first, I am a better mom. I am a better partner. I am better in my professional capacity or as a leader. But it is a tough turnaround. So I don't know if that it goes with boundaries specifically.
Well,
That's the first thing I think of.
yeah, and I agree with you 100%, especially when we don't honor that time that we've put on the calendar, we start to feel less like it's even possible or that we have the right to it. And what I really want to point out is when we do honor it, we start feeling better and we start feeling the right to say, I do need to take care of myself. I need to fill my bucket so that I can, whether it's with children, whether it's with a spouse, whether it's with our business, friends, whatever it may be. Do you have any specific habits that you help people with to support those boundaries, to be able to really lean into them and not only state them, but hold them so that they can care for themselves?
Yeah, again, it's, everyone is going to find their own magic to implementing these things. But as I said, just the mindset, gym, having that journal practice, having a gratitude practice, having a vision board. I think those things are so key.
Mm-hmm.
Scheduling it, I absolutely think that is important. Making the time on your calendar, but also giving yourself so much permission to kind of go with it and let go of perfection. I'm a big fan of small things throughout the day because we kind of get caught up in like, well, if I don't have an hour to work out or an hour to food prep or whatever, then then it's all gone out the window. Then forget it. I'm not going to do anything. Where instead, could we just add small movement breaks throughout the day and not feel like it has to be this way or not at all? Because we do that all or nothing thinking a lot of the time when we're trying to set new habits for ourselves. And we're like, well, you know what? It's not going to work today. I guess I'll start Monday, and life gets in the way on Monday. And well, I guess I'll start next week. And we could do that forever. So it's like, well, what's one small thing you can do today? I really like the exercise of how is it that you want to feel if you kind of project yourself into the future, whether it's next week or next month or in 90 days or further away. How is it that you want to feel as a result of doing this program or whatever? And when you tap into what that feeling is, what is one action you can do right now or today, a small action step that you can make to feel that way now? and do that over and over and over again and keep on reaching for that good feeling and staying in that. That's my favorite sort of habit to get people into the habit of doing.
I think one of the important things that I've seen, at least in my work in coaching, we're both coaches, right? We're supporting people to be their best selves and build their confidence, is to have a common language. So when we establish that boundary, when we state, put the boulder in the stream, as I like to call it, I'm focusing on myself for the next 15 minutes, whether it's self, whether it's work, priorities, whatever it is, to have that common language with the people around you, have that conversation so that they can understand why it's important to you and ask for their support instead of just sort of being wavering on it. Donna says, it was very hard to prioritize myself for years. I never saw the possibility of space until I didn't have someone to care for. Thank you for sharing that. I think that is so true, Donna, that we are so focused on others that we don't even see what our needs are. And that is a big one. You mentioned
so
movement.
Common, Donna. So common. Thank you for sharing that. I think so many of us are in that space. And that's really the shift that I want to help people make sooner than, waiting until the kids are out of the house, Sorry, Lisa. Go ahead.
No, and to piggyback on that, I don't think Donna minds me saying, like, she was having some health issues because she wasn't focusing on herself, and it was big. So better to carve that time out now when we have help, rather than focusing on healing something. And like you said earlier, it doesn't have to be all or nothing. It doesn't have to be an hour. Start small.
Right.
Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about movement, that daily movement. What are some of the things that people can do, and why is it so important?
Oh my goodness. Yes. Movement is medicine. It's my favorite medicine. And people ask me a lot of time, what's the best exercise that I can do for my age and for my goals? And my answer is always whatever you love doing that you can do, that you look forward to. It should not be a punishment. It should not be like, oh, it's Thanksgiving, so I better get my workout in. I better, and it should not be a chore. It should not be something, and that can take time. I fell in love with Zumba. Like, I love music. I love dancing. I love the community of it. So that works for me. But I also, like so many other modalities in fitness, but, whatever works for you, and meet your body where it's at. So maybe you start with more walking. Again, little movement breaks throughout the day, especially if you have a job where you're sitting down a lot. How often I joke with one of my clients, like, well, you have to increase your water. That's our first goal. And she's like, well, the benefit of increasing my water is that now I have to walk to the restroom every single hour. I'm like, perfect, because now you're getting a movement break in addition to being hydrated. This is perfect. But getting outside as much as possible, especially as we're about to embark on the winter here in the Northeast, still getting that fresh air as much as possible. I have a coach that says, you're brushing your teeth, you're doing your makeup, like you could probably get 20 squats in while you're doing all those things in the morning in the bathroom. Like, I had a client who was like, even the little things, like just reaching further for the glasses in the cupboard, like just standing further away and reaching further, like the small ways, parking a little further away at the grocery store, or taking the stairs. Like, these things sound so small, but they do add up over time. And then if you are like, I'm pretty active already, Erin, like I need more than that. Like, okay, well then let's get into a more specific, weightlifting regimen. We do want to build that lean muscle. That is our best way of burning fat in our bodies, especially as women, as we get older. We don't want to be sort of afraid of lifting weights. We do want to pick up heavy things and put them down. It's really important for our bodies. And so that's a conversation that we have, but really depends on where you're at, what your fitness level is. Swimming is a great place to start for a lot of my clients. But really depends. Yeah. But move your body every day. That's my motto. Like, absolutely get moving as much as possible. It has, we know the physical benefits. I think the mental health benefits speak for themselves, but you do need to move through your emotions for sure.
And that is a great way to do it. Shift your environment to get up and to move. And I really love what you're saying. And you've said it multiple times. Start small.
Mm.
Don't go all out. Just start small. Just get reaching for something, parking a little bit further away, and building the muscle, really the mindset muscle that you can do this in order to build up our body. Because when we feel better, we do better physically, emotionally, and financially. And that is a beautiful thing to connect to have that habit, like you were saying earlier, of connecting to why you want to create this change. And it does take some radical self-love in today's day and age, forever, really, especially for women, to carve out that space to honor who you are so that you can show up more as the best version of
Wow.
yourself. Now, let's talk a little bit about being a lifelong learner. I know that was something that you wanted to talk about. So,
Yes, I just love that phrase. I'm always learning. I'm always taking courses. I'm always and encourage people to invest in themselves. That's your best, most important asset, to invest in yourself. So I'm always learning new things. And we were talking earlier about learning about human design, which I'm fascinated by. Um, so that is important, but I do, because I know that we're running out of time. I just also want to mention too, we've been talking a lot about mindset, and so many of the things that we do, so much of what we do is just driven by our subconscious, which I know that I'm preaching to the choir with you, Lisa. Um, but it's something that I talk about a lot with my clients. If we have, let's say, 60,000 thoughts a day, 90% of those thoughts are repetitive from previous days, and maybe 90% of them are negative. And it takes such a conscious effort to reprogram those thoughts and to make the conscious effort every single day to unlearn the things that you've learned. And so those little movement breaks, those little small steps that you do, are constantly rewiring. Like, I
mhm.
am a person who can move my body more. I am a person who loves moving. I am a person who loves taking great care of herself. Like, those are conscious shifts. And for me, the piece that is so crucial to making those things stick is celebrating those things in a
Yes.
supportive community. So I love working in group settings over one-on-one, or at least having like the spaces where you can build that community, because it's awesome to celebrate. But I find, and I'm curious if you find this too, that most women, and myself included, it's hard to celebrate those little wins. Like, it doesn't feel right,
You don't even
right,
see them.
or even see them to like boast or pat yourself on the
Mhm.
back, or like, yes, I got my water, like, yay, I got my steps in, like, yay, I didn't fall into that negative thought loop that I usually do. It's hard to celebrate ourselves. And so when I push people to celebrate together and to call each other forward in a good way, like, oh my gosh, great job on that. That's really when those
Mhm.
neural pathways are really laid. Um, and they're solid for people, because we can make change, but we want lasting change, right?
Exactly.
Sustainable leadership. So for me, it's really that reprogramming, but this celebration in a supportive community really helps it kind of glue it in, helps it stick. So I want to
I
make sure.
agree. Yeah, I agree with you 110%. I do private coaching, which I absolutely love because we can dig really deep. But in the group coaching, what I really love is that they can see that they're not the only ones, right? That we're all struggling with certain things, and giving ourselves permission to struggle allows us to actually look at what's going on for us and celebrate. And that is so, so incredibly important. So, Erin, thank you. Thank you.
Yeah,
Believe it or not, we are at time. I can't believe it.
I know.
Um, but I would love to know, what one habit or boundary has supported you in living and leading a sustainable life?
Well, I think we've really touched on so many of them, right? It's hitting that mindset gym every day, and wherever that looks like for you, it's moving your body every single day. Because if you can't change your mind, you have to change your physical state. So move your body, and compassionate self forgiveness. I think if I had to pick one big habit, it would be that. It's,
Compassion.
just let go of the judgment, be in a space of
Mhm.
observation, notice the things that are coming up for you, and not be so judgmental and so hard on yourself. Yeah.
What I really want to highlight about what you said for the audience is that
Mm.
it's who you're being, not what you're doing.
Mm.
Right? So when we have that compassion for ourselves, it provides the space for us to step forward and be our best self. We've probably got the doing down, everyone who's listening to this.
Yeah.
right? But it's that being piece, that compassionate curiosity that allows us to explore and be able to support ourselves. Donna says, love, compassionate forgiveness. Self-forgiveness is so important. Donna, you got some great ones here. Thanks so much for joining in. I appreciate it. Where can people find you if they want to reach out? Is there a social platform, your website?
Yes, you can find me on Facebook and Instagram, Erin Hamlin, and hopefully that will be maybe in some show notes to help people. But my website is erinhamlin5.com because I have 3 kiddos, and there's 5 of us. So the Hamlin 5 is who we are. So I would love to continue the conversation over there.
Perfect. Definitely give her a follow. There's a lot of great information on her Instagram page, which is the one that I follow, and as well as her Facebook page. So, Erin, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lisa.
Next week, November 30th. I can't, it's amazing. We have Suzanne Moore. She's going to be talking about nonfiction success, writing your book, how to do it successfully. So be sure to join in, bring your questions, and I will see you next week. Thank you, everyone. Take care.